know, 400 metres. 400 coming in. Fuck me, defenders. Faux granite sticker on there. Yeah, that's quite funny. Should get like an old shoulder rig to strap it on. Oh, I should have bought it magnetic. It's also a lot cheaper here than it was back in the US. Like an old mock Soviet apartment setup with all the furniture and all the kitchen and everything, just like an old Soviet apartment. So that was kind of cool. I don't think they have it here though. Well, this we used to do it over here.
Welcome to live show 117, Brits in Belarus 2, Judgment Day. And as always, we have our co-host Michael. How are you?
Oh, you know, just drinking a beer like I always do.
Turn up the microphone, that would be a good idea.
Maybe I don't have it pulled out far enough.
No, I had it off. So.
I've got today's beer, unfiltered wheat beer, like usual. So,
What's the difference
what do you mean?
to normal beer?
Oh, well, you don't filter it, so it looks all cloudy and hazy, and then
Looks like a urine test.
well, when you don't filter the beer, it ends up having a bit of a fruity flavor to it, and
Those ones are good.
There's no fruit. Yeah, no, they're wonderful. It's it costs less than $1 for one of these in a bottle. So I brought a sixer with me, and we're gonna get toasty.
Okay. And also, the boys from Britain are back. Michael and Yanis are here and have returned to the studio, and they're going to break down their time in Belarus so far and everything they've seen on the ground. Hello?
Hi, thank you.
Hello again.
You need to bring that towards you.
Sorry, glad to be back. Certainly enjoying the time here. I think I might claim political asylum.
And we have Andrew and Steve again, the blank seat. He'll be here later,
Hi.
joining us. So
Yeah, Steve's a ghost today.
Yeah. Can you bring that forward a bit more?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's not working. And give me a
I'm not
second.
used to such the professional scene whenever I do streams. Usually it's just me, very spending half an hour trying to get my own audio to work on my own stream, so I'm not used to such a smooth ship.
Okay, fair enough. Tonight we'll cover Trump fires Zelensky, a White House showdown like no other. Trump reportedly boots Zelensky from a drama-filled meeting. We'll play that video. How did the world leaders react? What does this mean for the future of Ukraine? And we'll tell you what the media won't. And if you can please send our co-host Michael some crypto or money, as this poor guy's struggling to eat and wasting away.
Yeah, I'm so poor, and I just can't afford food. That's why I'm so sickly and frail looking.
Michael decided he's now Ukrainian, so he's going to start begging for money all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And can you please like the video, show your support, share the link, and spread the word. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Do that, please. Let's get started. Okay. You're not on at the moment, Andrew, but we'll get to you. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so on February 28th, 2025, a White House meeting between US President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Ukrainian President Zelensky turned chaotic. Intended to discuss the minerals deal and Ukraine war with Russia, it devolved into a shouting match. Vance pushed diplomacy as a solution, echoing isolationist views, while Zelensky questioned its feasibility, citing Russia's history of breaking agreements. Trump demanded gratitude for US aid, accused Zelensky of risking World War III, and later ejected him from the White House, cancelling a planned press conference. The minerals deal collapsed, and Trump called Zelensky disrespectful on social media. So, hang on, I'll just grab that video while Michael will say something. That one?
Well, I already watched the entire press conference. Yeah, it was just incredible to see how quickly Zelensky started to get a really bad attitude once he saw that it wasn't going to go his way. And I don't know, he started yelling and all sorts of dumb shit, and just it doesn't matter what your opinion is, but in a political situation like that, I don't understand how you can lose your cool and you just end up making everybody look like an asshole. And
Let's watch it.
yeah.
Ми маємо тут американських медійників.
Oh,
Тепер ви
that's a bit wrong. It's in
маєте
Russian
нестачу
or Ukrainian. Sorry about that.
людей, нестачу
Back to Michael.
чоловіків.
Well, he ended up telling him that he doesn't have the cards to be negotiating. He hasn't been thankful for anything. Once J.D. Vance jumped in and asked him if he's ever thanked the U.S. for anything that they've done, then he called him suka, which is like a bitch, and then it just got way out of hand. And I guarantee that Trump knows what suka means. I mean, his wife is Ukrainian or whatever.
But Michael,
Slovenian.
Zelensky's not
Slovenian.
playing cards, so it doesn't matter if his hand of cards isn't good.
See, but that's the thing is Zelensky decided to go into there, and he's not using a translator for any of this stuff. So he's going in there trying to speak and understand, and I don't know. It's funny because as soon as he gets angry, then he starts swearing in Ukrainian.
Russian.
Ukrainian.
Same thing.
But
But Russian, yeah.
it's dialect, you know.
I think Zelensky's got like this cult personality where wherever he goes, he gets treated like an emperor by the European Union, by Asia countries, and by the Biden administration. So when he goes to Trump, he's the same, playing the same character, where he expects to be treated like a prince. And when Trump gives him a reality check, the only way he can push back is with a bad attitude, you know.
Well, it's because he's a huge liberal, and all the liberal backers and everything that's going on, like all the EU leaders. I said you can tie most of them into Israel and their Jews and blah blah blah.
Shot. That's,
And
sorry.
but it's just how it all works, you know.
Okay, we've got it up now thanks to Michael, the other Michael. He's got it. So there we go. Let's watch this. Listen.
The battle rifles.
False Michael.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine. And we've been
Just so you're
working
aware, this
very
is the
hard,
full
very
press
close. So we've
conference.
actually known
So
each
if you
other
wanna
for a
get to
long
the
time.
bit at
We've
the end, I
been
believe it's the
dealing
last
with each
20
other
minutes.
for a long time and very well.
The last 20 minutes. I
We
believe
had
is
little
the heated
negotiation
exchange.
spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries.
Yeah, roundabout.
Yeah. It's a little bit before
American
that,
company.
but
We're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to
So is my mic
censor
off?
Americans on its behalf.
yeah, you better stop posting that racist frog.
Yeah. Demonstrably false on such important topics.
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about
Yeah,
that?
we have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday, and I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all
A
critical?
little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is
No.
that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
President, I just wanted to ask you about it. You just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. How was the
As
latest?
soon as you mention Putin, that's all it takes to fucking piss him off.
How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
It went very well.
Well, I think
I wouldn't
we're
even be
going to have
inviting
to-
Zelensky to
On the
any
minerals
discussion
deal,
with
Mr. President,
Putin.
some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian
They'll be
forces?
protected. The
European
agreement will protect them.
US
The
forces?
agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement. You know?
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings, I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Since I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country,
Right.
richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy.
Just one question. You think it was invasion or liberation?
Oh, you're really putting the screws on my...
Pretty simple question.
Everybody.
Wow.
Liberation.
Liberation.
Well, obviously.
Liberation.
It's a complicated answer, isn't it? It's
we know which country you come
depending
from.
on which side of Dnipro you
Pretty
live on.
simple question.
See, it's funny because they come from a place where they can't answer the question.
Oh no, we can. It's just I have a very nuanced take on what it is. I would side more with the invasion.
Well,
I'm sure there are people in the Donbass who feel they were liberated and were liberated, but then there's a lot of people in Kherson and Zaporizhia.
It doesn't always matter what the people think. It matters what reality is. You can think that you're being invaded, but in reality you're being liberated.
Well, and the problem is, before the war even started...
Australia, when the first fleet arrived, was that an invasion?
That was civilization.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Whenever the Soviet Union ejected the fascists from Poland, were they liberating or were they... What was that?
That was liberation.
Liberation.
A little bit of both.
But hung around for quite a long time, didn't they?
Mr. Paul, what would you say? What was Poland liberated by the Soviet Union?
They were definitely. But then you're replacing one regime for another one at the time, I think. And
okay, let's get back to this. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, but for anyone who thinks Zelensky didn't dress up, just take a look at him. He wore black instead of his usual green.
He's been doing that for the past couple of weeks now. He has changed his...
Trying to be a little more fancy.
Yeah, I think since Trump's come into office, as he's realised that the winds have started to change, so he's slightly dressing up a bit. He's lost the quasi-military tracksuit for... Well, the black part.
Before we know it, he'll have a collar on his shirt.
I just thought he was going for like Sith Lord or something.
That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Oh, just as it gets good.
An advert.
You know what Zelensky reminds me of, Michael? You remember that "Give Me" song by that African leader?
Give me them things.
Give me money, give me a wife, give me this, give me that. Kill my enemies, die by fire.
Okay, let's get back to that.
Sure. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014 and 2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but, during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying.
Did you know? Remember the little green men in Crimea?
Yeah.
They were Ukrainian soldiers. They were Ukrainians who took all their patches off and just turned sides.
You're gonna have to provide a lot of evidence for me to believe that.
Contact line.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped him.
The Crimea was never Ukrainian. They didn't even celebrate Ukrainian holidays.
A lot of conversations.
Yeah, I don't believe Crimea. Crimea should be part of Russia. I believe that.
There's 20,000 Ukrainian soldiers there, and most of them just turned sides.
But they were conveniently dressed in Russian uniforms.
Well,
the exact same ratnik.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go
We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange
Looks like he sure
prisoners.
enjoys this
We
meeting.
signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong-
with respect,
Here we go.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for
Have you
trying to
ever
bring
been-
an end to this
Have
conflict.
you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and
Smackdown.
attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
Is that a threat?
We're trying to solve a problem.
Yeah, that's
don't
exactly
tell us
what
what
it is.
we're going to feel.
I'm not telling
That's
you.
how
Because you're in no position
Jews
to
fucking
dictate
threaten
that.
people.
Is that the one about the ocean? And
Yeah.
That's it.
But that's
Short.
exactly like when we went out the other night, and we had this fucking IDF guy that was tailing us, and yeah, it's exactly how like Jewish people threaten you.
So
like,
what'd he say?
He's talking about how he's a Sambo champion, and I told him like cool, like
No, I knew what that guy said, but what did Zelensky say?
well he's saying
right.
that you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it from Russia. You're gonna feel it. But you have the big ocean, so you think you won't, but you will. You're gonna feel it. You know, like they're just vague threats that honestly don't mean anything. It's just a way that you talk when you don't really have anything specific to say, but you want to scare your opponent. It's like that IDF guy. He was showing me like all these pictures of him in the IDF, and he's like flexing and stuff without his shirt on, like fucking.
I think it's also part of that guy's personality.
Well, yeah, but there was
What
like
are you doing
pictures from
hanging
like.
out with IDF soldiers who are showing you their muscle pics?
You were with him too.
I wasn't.
Well, we were.
I was with a girl from Tatarstan.
They tagged along.
They were fucking hammered, and then they tried talking to my girlfriend, and Belarusians, they don't. I don't know. They're too friendly, and they don't
polite.
recognize interlopers. You know.
Well, your girlfriend told me she thought the one guy was gay. And he was like hitting on me.
See, exactly, and that's the tall, awkward Jew, right?
No, the other skinny one who was a little younger.
See, that was the one Belarusian, and he did strike me as gay.
He's the one who wouldn't let go of my hand for like 2 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, I really don't care to squeeze your hand in a competition for 2 minutes.
Well, that was why I wet noodled him. I just.
But did you really?
He had a good
Oh,
handshake.
yeah. Well, he tried to squeeze my fucking hand to death, and I just wet noodled him, and I just like looked him in the eye.
Oh, and he
then
was
I,
so
like,
confused. He tells me like, "What's wrong with your friend? Something's wrong with his head. He doesn't squeeze."
Okay, back to this.
Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown.
good position.
I
You
was
don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing
But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think of
War
cards?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you?
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of
Spicy.
appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a
answer?
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I.
You have a damn good chance of
we
coming
are
out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
we
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on
I
over
understand,
there.
sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying you
said-
don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
I think it means like treaties,
You
meals.
got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards.
Not
With
bed
us,
sheets.
you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, here.
It'll be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
One second there.
What if Russia
Have you seen the effigies of Trump that have been executed by Ukrainian soldiers
Oh,
on,
yeah,
on social
yeah,
media?
yeah.
It's a bad day. Their relations. I think it's in the ground.
Well, the thing is you see, he has to talk to him like a child. He doesn't even understand where he is. The fact that you can walk into the White House while you're having this very important meeting, and you're basically wearing a fucking, I wouldn't even wear that to the country club. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like a spoiled child being told yes every time. Parents never said no. So when he gets told no, he's confused.
I know this it comes from me, so everyone will take it the way it's meant. But if you want to, it's trying to apply a bit of nuance to it. I mean, I do think there is an argument that he's trying to make that, look, the country was first seen, quote unquote, Russian aggression in 2014. You had the fighting in the Donbass, you had the Minsk agreements, which all failed for whatever reasons or another. And what he's trying to do is trying to secure not a ceasefire. He wants something that will prevent the resumption, like to stop the conflict from being frozen, like conflicts in Georgia and Moldova and places like that.
North Korea.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, I do think that the adulation, particularly from European and the powers in the previous administration, has sort of lulled them into a sense of like I don't want to say a false sense of security, but there's certainly this
entitlement, yes.
Yeah, entitlement to a large degree that I think is kind of what started to come out a bit there.
Well, it's been obvious for a very long time, because he keeps on begging for more.
Yeah.
But they've been hiding it with all the media and stuff until finally Trump drags it out of him, and you have to watch it on fucking live
But
TV.
I think there's two things at play here. Is I think it kind of revealed itself whenever Vance said that you campaign for the opposition. Trump is obviously very notoriously a petty man, rightly or wrongly, and I do think that the ultimate game here is I think they want Zelensky gone.
Well,
I think they don't trust him. He obviously screwed Trump over during the impeachment trials and the like, and then the various antics in the election, like the visit to the Philadelphia munitions plant. the very close relations that they have with Biden and Kamala. So I do think that Trump there is a bit of pettiness there.
It's not petty at all.
Well,
that's serious stuff.
Yeah. Well, petty's probably the wrong word, but there is certainly like a reciprocal, like, look,
bad
you
blood.
tried to,
The bad blood.
Yeah. You undermined me politically, so why? And now you're relying on me. So I do think there's an element of that, but then I also think there's also an element of Trump trying to say to these. Like, obviously, yes, Zelensky, rightly or wrongly, he is the president of a sovereign country, and therefore he should be nominally equal to Trump, in the eyes, in the sense that, president of a country should be treated the same as the president of a country in the, like, that sort of basic diplomacy. But obviously,
unless you're the president of a country who got millions of your people killed and your country destroyed.
Well, that, and also with the context of he canceled the last elections. He's not even legitimate. Right?
Yeah. Well, putting that aside, we're in Eastern Europe,
and he did run on a peace campaign also.
Yeah. But I also think that another element there is that obviously Trump does not view him as an equal. I don't think J.D. Vance as well, because the nominal independence of the Ukrainian state, as Trump kind of articulated there, low ham-fistedly, is only down to American largesse, American support. So so I think that was another element of what Trump was. Whenever it really started to go in, obviously, like, Trump wouldn't give a press conference and say it, but whenever it started to get heated, it started to come out where Trump was like, look, you might be sitting next to me as a equal, but you're only an equal because of the support that this country has given you
and
to
it's
to
not
sustain
only
itself.
the bullets and shells for artillery, it's logistics, it's intelligence, it's satellite information, target information, the stuff that the European Union probably can't provide. So it's the top end stuff really, which really does give them the edge.
Yeah, well, it's like during the very early days of the conflict, like some of the very stinging blows that the Ukrainians were able to land against the Russians, the things like the HIMARS during the very early days, the undermining of the Russian logistics in the south, around about March to September 2022, a lot of that was down to HIMARS, obviously an American system, and then almost certainly those were being targeted by, like, the DSA, the NSA, American intelligence were telling Ukrainians, like, this might be a very good target for you guys to hit. So things like that, where you had a more active participation alongside the actual providing of weapons themselves. So, I mean, I personally disliked Zelensky. I think he's just another one of these shit-lib, global homosexual world order type politicians.
He's a celebrity, he's a TV star.
Yeah, and he's forcing through, like, a cultural revolution through Ukraine.
He legalized gay marriage and marijuana.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
under the auspices of martial law during a wartime where the people don't really understand what's happening, but their society is being completely
It was one of those
changed.
really important things he needed to do during the war.
Yeah.
There's two really big things that you have to factor in here. First of all, you hear him saying, I said thank you. I guarantee that motherfucker knows how to speak Hebrew better than he knows how to speak English. Second of all, when you have Trump saying all this stuff, the way that he talks, that's how Americans normally speak. You have all of these presidents like Biden who can't even make a fucking sentence. Then you had Obama, where he smokes crack and goes to gay bathhouses and shit. And then he goes and he has all these fucking prepared speeches written for him. And then before that, you had Bush and what does he do? Fucking go to the ranch and fuck off? And it's other than that, you haven't had a real American in the White House for a very long time. I think the world has forgotten how we speak. I think they forgot how we act. Especially compared to other English speakers, I think even just with the sayings that you guys use sometimes, you really beat around the fucking bush. With us, everything is very clear. It's very straightforward. And I don't care about your feelings. I care about telling you what's happening. And that's what he's trying to do. And he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up.
A high-level diplomacy at that, usually that's like a ultrally staged, managed affair. So to have that's why I think this, obviously the connotations surrounding it, the political situation around it, but to have essentially the president of the United States and the president of another country basically going at it in the Oval Office in front of the world's media is unprecedented. So that even says more about the rawness of the event itself.
My June on the Rumble chat said Trump is trying to reset our relationship with Russia to offset CCP quest to rule the world. Zelensky and Europe are getting in the way.
I subscribe to that idea as well, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and heavily disagree with that. I've never seen a Chinese person wear a yarmulke.
Let's listen to the last bit of this meeting.
Another advert.
Another advert.
Do you get commission on these adverts since you?
disaster struck, the city's population is now sparse. In an effort to
The U.S. and Russia must become allies. It's imperative.
Let's try again.
Awkward silence.
Oops.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? Why did they break it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was
Russiagate.
a phony. That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks. We'll see, I don't know. All right, guys, come on. Guys, come on, let's move, please.
Afterwards, several world leaders backed Zelensky. Canadians Justin Trudeau and Australia's Anthony Albanese praised Ukraine's fight but stayed vague on specifics. European figures like Germany's Friedrich Merz, France's Emmanuel Macron and Poland's Donald Tusk offered solidarity, though Hungary's Viktor Orban sided with Trump, calling him a peacemaker. Oh, someone go and get Steve. Russia's Maria Zakharova mocked Zelensky, praising Trump's restraint. The responses showed a split. Western leaders leaned on moral support, while others saw Trump's stance as pragmatic. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Well, I'm sure you have. So this one? No. Give me a second. I've lost it.
I think personally Zelensky's whole backstory is a bit fishy. You know, I think he was groomed when he was a TV star in the TV show Servant of the People, where he portrayed an anti-corruption, school teacher turning politician, and then be shoehorned into that position years later.
Yeah, have you
It's
seen
all a little
that?
bit suspect in my
Have you
mind.
seen this? All the leaders. Von der Leyen said, "Be
automated.
strong, be brave, and fearless." Then the next tweet from Roberta Mercola, same thing. All of them are saying exactly the same thing. Sounds like COVID, but or build back better. But it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Be strong, be brave, be fearless.
Ooh, it smells like a lot of man in here.
Yeah, I think it's my feet. Sorry,
My feet also
I've been walking all day.
Definitely a lot of foot smell.
A lot of bros. I took a shower though, so I'm good now.
It's
I had
alright.
to drop a Zelensky off at the pool, so.
Yeah.
We've
We've seen this. You've seen this is Zelensky'd. Verb,
To lose
past
through your
tense,
own-
to lose everything through your own stupidity. There you go. It's a
Let
new.
me take a look.
It's a new word.
Is that Urban Dictionary?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay.
You've been Zelensky'd. Or similar, totally fucked, dumbassified.
Yeah, you already missed some fun parts of the conversation. So, yeah.
Yeah. So much.
Have you come dressed as Zelensky tonight?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. You see this thing?
Yeah.
All right, so this is an official Belarusian military officer shirt.
Oh,
so
no
I figured
shit.
I would wear it tonight.
More fancy than Zelensky's.
How do I
Yeah,
get
he's
one
just
of
wearing
those?
a green sweater. I mean, come on, this got the collar and everything. Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Too close?
Yeah, I'll turn it down.
I'll pull it back a little
Turn
bit.
it back down a bit.
All right.
Anyway, what I was saying. So on March 2nd, 2025, which is today, a UK summit hosted by Keir Starmer at Lancaster House brought Zelensky, EU leaders, Canada's Trudeau, and NATO's Mark Rutte together to discuss Ukraine, billed as urgent after the US spat.
Yeah, change their camera now. That's all.
It's on me.
No, not just that one, but also now that we have two of them in the corner.
Yeah,
Let it
that-
twist a little. No. Leave that one. It's because he switched that.
Yeah, just hang on. Where am I up to? Billed as urgent after the US spat, it focused on short-term aid, peace deal, security guarantees. Starmer signed a $2.8 billion loan deal to Zelensky, but the summit's tone was more posturing than concrete plans. European leaders pushed for unity against Russia, yet the absence of US-backed loomed large, leaving talks heavy and rhetoric on light breakthroughs. And Zelensky also met King Charles, a symbolic nod to amid uncertainty.
Oh.
Good.
So, guys, what sparked the initial tension between Trump, Zelensky during their White House meeting? Do you want to start with Michael on the left of me?
Absolutely. I think you should start with him.
False
So
Michael.
I try to remember what it was.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I kind of outlined it. I think there's a long-standing just dislike of Zelensky with Trump and then with Vance, going back to things like impeachment. And Vance has long held a critical take on the conduct of American support for the war from the previous administration. So I think there is this underlying tension already. Like I say, to a degree, maybe petty is the wrong word, but certainly a feeling that not a close feeling with President Trump towards Zelensky. In terms of this agreement, well, not this agreement, but the events in the Oval Office the other day, I think it's largely another aspect to it was this mineral agreement that Trump has tried to pass through. That seems to have gone through a number of revisions. Because it's alleged, again, I've not read the agreement, so I'm not too sure what's involved in it, but Trump is said to try and extract concessions from the Ukrainians in terms of mineral rights and stuff, and obviously considering that for the past 3 years generally everything's been offered to Kiev on a plate free of charge to a large degree. I think the Ukrainians have probably balked a bit at that, and then there's been a back and forth, which I think Trump has probably felt a little bit, rightly or wrongly, depending on the agreement specifics, was a little ingratitude for American support. But then again, they were meant to re-sign this agreement just after they finished that press conference, which was actually then cancelled because the president ejected them from the White House. So I also think the Ukrainians were probably hoping this agreement was a way to try and get the United States, particularly under Donald Trump, as economically invested in Ukraine. So if the Americans have substantial mineral concessions and stuff in Ukraine, then I think the thinking in Kiev was that, well, then maybe if the Russians did attempt 5 years down the line to try military action against Ukraine again, then would the United States feel more invested to protect their economic interests in the country and stuff like that. So that might have been another dynamic that was going on.
Also heard Putin's also discussed with Trump about doing rare earth deals as well with Russia.
Oh yeah. I can imagine it must be a very interesting time in the foreign ministry in Moscow at the moment. I think the possibilities for them are very exciting from Russian point of eyes of how to exploit and maneuver the situation, because it does seem that Ukraine is making a a lot of mistakes whenever it comes to the transatlantic support at the moment.
See, I think
Michael.
all that information you just said is true, but I don't think that really answers the original question. What sparked the initial tension in the White House?
In that actual meeting?
It's as simple as soon as Putin got...
Oh, yeah.
As soon as his name got thrown out by that reporter, and then Zelensky just fucking... He just spurred out. Like he just fucking threw a fit. That's it. And then Trump tried to tell him to stop being a little bitch. He wouldn't listen, and it just kept on escalating. Because he wouldn't shut up. That's what I was saying earlier. Like normal Americans, if you're going to sit there and you're going to disrespect me in a conversation repeatedly, I'm going to put you in your place if I can. And
I think that, yeah, definitely, because obviously for the past 3 years, anyone who's all world leaders and stuff it's the old adage, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. No one's spoken to Vladimir Putin apart from like Viktor Orban. I believe Emmanuel Macron might have tried to have made a phone call post the actual invasion itself, but generally no one's spoken to the Russians directly. It's always gone through interlocutors, and then now. So it's kind of given Zelensky this idea that he's in the driving seat, is that no one speaks to him, they speak to me, because I'm the, this idea that, because this is what I think the Europeans and what Zelensky are still balking at, is this idea that you could build up Ukraine militarily to defeat Russia in the field, which is not viable, it's just not feasible, but they still seem to be going for that. So this idea that, I do think that in his mind is that the road to peace is somehow military defeat for Russia in the field, so you don't need to speak to Vladimir Putin. So the idea that Donald Trump is directly speaking to Putin seemingly on a regular basis, I think that's obviously threatening to Zelensky, because that's Zelensky losing control of the narrative with his biggest backer, and also there's also this persistent fear that potentially, well, is Washington going to do deals behind our back and sell out Ukraine?
See, all that stuff that you said is true, but I would take it even one step further, and I would say that they've been intentionally trying to make Ukraine think that they're bigger and stronger than they are. In order to, basically, they just want as many people in that area to die as possible. They don't care if it's Ukrainians, they don't care if it's Russians or whatever. The more people they can get rid of, the better. It's you have Christians fighting Christians, it's exactly what they want.
Well, they're all Russians. They're all Slavs.
Well, yeah, but the people that are in charge of everything are not.
I know. I'm just saying all the people that are dying are the same people. They're
Yeah,
not different people.
But I'm saying that the ones that are all standing around and encouraging all this and stuff, it's all that one ethno religion that I always yell about every fucking radio show, and they sit there and they fucking give me the money, and let's kill as many Christians as possible, and I don't know.
wonder if it's so much about Christians or if it's more about Slavs, because I think they want to get rid of Slavs.
Well, they want to get rid of Slavs the most because Slavs have the highest rate of Christianity, and they have very solid morals and very well constructed societal norms that they adhere to, and they aren't so easy to corrupt as everybody else. That's the big thing. Like, if you try and do half the shit in Russia or Belarus or used to be Ukraine as they do in the West, with the weed, the gay marriage, all this other shit, it wouldn't fly here. Like in Belarus, you try to do something gay outside, yeah, you're gonna hear about that. Yeah,
I mean, realistically, you're not gonna get your ass beat.
Well, no, you're not gonna get your ass beat.
It
But
depends
I
on
mean,
who
like,
you're around.
but if you're doing a bunch of dumb shit and they see it, if you get in trouble for the gay propaganda law, I mean, you're not gonna throw a fucking gay parade like you do in America, where
you're not gonna have a parade, but like you can see gays walking down the street sometimes. They're not getting beat up or anything.
Well, I mean, they exist. It's not illegal to exist here.
It's legal to be gay, but it's illegal to do LGBT.
Yeah. That's a good distinction. Yeah. You can be gay, but not a. Actually,
Well, yeah.
Are we on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say it.
Okay, well, if you want, I can cut us off too.
No, it's okay.
Well, I was gonna say you can be gay, but just don't be a faggot. But
well, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't like that word.
I wanted to check with you first.
Yeah.
Demonetized on YouTube.
Well, we don't make money on YouTube.
Wow.
Anyway.
But the thing
but
is,
actually, if you're on YouTube, we're about to cut you off, so come on to Rumble anyway. So just before we actually get cut off ourselves.
I was switching back and forth last time I popped in, and I was on YouTube and Rumble, and you didn't really have anything on YouTube. You had a lot on Rumble, but none on YouTube.
YouTube does not like it. Sorry, YouTube does not like it when we broadcast.
Okay, so just in the Rumble chat, Zuna Unu. Oops. Oh, that was quick. Hang on, give me a second. That was the second one.
Most Americans are exhausted of hearing.
No, this one. I guess I would ask, why shouldn't Trump be pissed at Zelensky? He played a major role in the impeachment and never spoke up. He's untrustworthy and fake, just like you would expect an actor to be.
He's one of the enemies.
Then he said, most Americans are exhausted of hearing. Those are Putin talking points. At this point, most of us would rather ally with Russia than Europe. Their values are mostly aligned with our values. And Marjun just said, it's possible Zelensky seized opportunity to capitalize on Bondi debacle on Epstein. He's thinking that Trump, perceived weak by many Americans as AG appointment, it's likely has backfired on Zelensky.
Okay, see, here's whoever this Marjun person is that's commenting on stuff. You're talking about China this, China that, and fucking what was that? The Epstein list that everybody's obsessed about.
We attacking the audience now.
While you're doing that, I'm going to cast off YouTube.
But the thing is
if you're on
that
YouTube,
this
come
is
to
what
Rumble.
Americans look like online. Most of them, you sit here and you hyper focus on two stupid little things, right? That's what they want you to do, because you're sitting there and you're looking at that. And you're tying it into that instead of what's actually happening with all these people that are pulling the strings. This EU and NATO shit, it's all bullshit. It's all to bully people. They're stealing the fucking money right out of everybody's pockets. They're stealing free speech everywhere in Europe. But you see this other guy that comments, and he says that Russia's values more commonly align with ours. That's because America's supposed to be a Christian country, and then you have Russia that's actually a Christian country. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. This whole war is to try and kill as many Christian people as possible. It's to change your values, and it's to trick you into believing in this whole new world order shit, while you're worried about this fucking one Mossad agent that was doing what they all fucking do. Why don't you pay attention to all these people that are on these big councils and that are
changing things?
Yeah, they're fucking everybody up.
Russia's the only ally the U.S. has left. I mean, it's not technically an ally right now, but it's an actual should-be ally.
They will work with the United States because they understand how the political situation actually works pragmatically. Whereas these people in the European Union, well, you see what they've been saying and doing the last few days, and they seem to live on a different planet from what is actually going on.
Gone.
It's still there, but it's the mentality of it.
Physically, it's there, but the problem is that they've gone well past the point of no return.
Well, I think if you live in the countryside like I do, it's a bit different to living in the big multicultural cities where they are. London, basically, they believe that the whole country is London-centric and it revolves around them. Where majority of the population live in the countryside and we have a different worldview than they do.
Well, not only that, but the cities are directly supported by the countryside. So the more of you that sit there and you stay in the countryside, the more that you're supporting your cities turning into that. That's the problem, because you're the ones that are making all the food that make it possible for all those fucking shitheads to sit in there and do nothing. So I don't know. Like if you want to take back your countries, I guess just stop sending shit into the city. I don't fucking know.
That's what they want. They want to turn to mega farms. Take away